tickets5050.com. The raffle ends September 4th, so get your tickets today.
Your Ohio State Buckeyes live here on ESPN 850 WKNR Cleveland. Welcome to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Live from Browns training camp in Berea, Ohio, here are your hosts, Beau Bishop and Nathan Zegura.
All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. Beau Bishop, Nathan Zegura along with you. And obviously a show that is going to be different than most that we do in the sense of what is happening what's happened in the last 24 hours in the sports world and where we are. And we'll do our best to keep you updated on those changes as they've come through. As you no doubt know by now, the NBA did not play their games last night. We know that 5 MLS games weren't played last night. We know that 3 Major League Baseball games were not played last night in protest of the social injustices that are happening in this country. The NFL, we know that there are several teams that have called off practice today. Several teams have. At this point, we are scheduled to practice at 2:25. That could change, but right now, that is the plan.
The Browns are scheduled to practice at 2:25. The team has gone through its walkthrough. Beyond that, that's all we can tell you at this time. So, as of now, practice scheduled to go on here in Berea as soon as if there is an update to that to confirm that. But that's the expectation as of now. If that changes, we certainly will let you know. And you're right, this is it will be a very unusual show for at least parts of it as we deal with everything that's going on in our country and seeing. You know, I read a quote today that said our country is as divided and emotionally charged as it's been since the Civil War, which covers a lot of ground and is a pretty profound and obviously unsettling statement, to say the very least, about where we are here in the year 2020, which is a year that I don't think anybody could have seen coming for 20 different reasons. And certainly here we are today. Playoff basketball games walked out on last night as the teams wanted and the players got together and protested. And we don't know if the NBA will resume. It sounds like it's leaning that direction.
Yeah, it sounds like out today, out tomorrow, a restart over the weekend, maybe Friday, a restart of that. That seems to the reporting I've seen. But guys, this is so fluid that if I don't have Twitter up at the moment, so maybe something's changed. But as I was monitoring it on the way coming over here and monitoring on my morning show, that was as I was closing up right around 12. The latest was a return to play, and this was following the meetings that were at 11 o'clock between players and owners, 2 separate meetings, owners and then players, trying to get it set up. And so that was the reporting as of then. The details could change, just as the details could change on these NFL teams, several of which are not practicing today, and as of right now we are scheduled to, but we will see what will happen. That's a 2:25. You mentioned the civil unrest since the Civil War. If you think probably from a civil unrest perspective, the Civil War, the Civil Rights Movement, and now would be the 3. And there's one common denominator in all of them, and it's racial injustice. It's just, that's it. That's right. It's the one thing that does it. And it bubbles up and it bursts, and we're having that now. You have to acknowledge that we are 2 white guys doing a show. No doubt. We have not walked a mile in a black man's shoes, and we don't know what that is like. And yet that doesn't stop me from having empathy, tremendous empathy. It doesn't stop me from saying that this is wrong. It doesn't stop me from being blind to the fact that black men in this country are treated differently than I am. Absolutely. That I don't fear for when I get pulled over. I don't.
Nope.
My thinking is, how can I get out of this? And oftentimes I don't. I usually get a ticket. That's the way it works. But that's what my biggest fear is. Theirs is different.
Totally different.
So that is something that I can't identify with other than just having tremendous empathy for it.
I have unbelievable empathy and obviously very proud to be a part of this organization that is, not saying – because the real question is what can we do, right? And the Browns, along with the Indians and the Cavs, have aligned to spread awareness and solicit a call to action on community movements and initiatives. That was announced earlier today, and it's going to be about action, and it's going to be about tangible action. You're right, we don't know it, and I've spent a great portion of last night and this morning watching – I don't know if you saw Robert Ory's comments.
I did.
Troy Vincent. I mean, just trying to educate myself with as many perspectives as I can of things that I am, I cannot relate to and have not been able to. I can understand and, as you said, be empathetic, but I can never pretend to know exactly what that is like. And getting ready to do today's show, I was nervous with it because as I said, when you are divided, there are people who feel obviously like you and I do, and there are people who strongly and adamantly do not. And for me, all I want to do is try to make the world that I live in a better place, do better by my fellow man, regardless of any type of differences, whether that be ethnicity, whether that be educational, anything, any socioeconomic, doesn't matter to me. We as a country need to try to come together and heal because there are very, very deep wounds, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to take a lot of action, and it is uncomfortable. And I think that's the sign of this being something that is A, very important, A, very deeply rooted, and something that needs to really be addressed. And I'm not going to sit here and say I have any of the solutions at all. But what I can tell you is that I am going to do everything that I can. I know you are going to do everything you can. And I feel this organization and the leadership that we're getting from the top, from ownership to Andrew Barry and Kevin Stefanski, to the leaders on this field, to the leaders in this locker room, who are people that I will take cues from, because we can make a difference, and we can all say no more of this. And so for me, I'm just going to try to do the best job that I can. I talked to my wife last night about how we can get involved, and we've made some financial commitments, but sometimes that even feels hollow, and want to get involved more. And certainly, a lot of opportunities have been made to be the solution by our organization that we get to work for and be around. And so that's where I'm at. It's obviously, I hate it. I hate that, we're talking about this, and we've talked about it a lot this year. I mean, as big as COVID has been, this has also been...
It's been right there.
Right there. When you think about a pandemic, the likes of which the world hasn't seen in 100 years, that this is and not even on par. I think it's becoming, in our country especially, certainly a bigger story, and our country has not had the most success with the coronavirus. What I can tell you is that I believe our team and the leadership on our team and our organization is going to do what they feel is right and do what they can to make the biggest impact on something that is very personal to a lot of players on our team. And I think those who saw what the Bucks did but didn't read the stories about the personal experiences many of the players on the Milwaukee Bucks had, that why they responded to this the way they did, you educate yourself the best that you can so that you can have empathy. We're not going to say everybody's going to agree about everything or the ways to do this, but it is important, I believe, to have empathy for what's going on and for trying to be a part of the solution, be a part of the change that is clearly needed. I don't think anybody could argue at this point that change is not needed in our country for the current state of affairs.
Look, I'm a man, I'm 40. I don't ever recall this. I didn't live through the civil rights movement. I've never seen it so divided. I've never seen so much vitriol. I've never seen there's just no precedent for this of where we are right now. The anger is just at an all-time level, and it's shame. It's just a shame because there's very little being done out there to unify. Very, very little is being done out there to unify and to get on the same page and fight for a common good. It's to fight in your silo for the things that you believe in, and then only hear people who believe what you believe. And you see it in all. We've seen it with this pandemic. We've seen it with the racial injustice. So we've seen all of these things. And I'll say this. And as you've been around, you've been in this organization a long time. You've been around sports a long time. I've been around sports a long time, and I've primarily covered football. And the thing that I think about football is there's no better petri dish for Americana than football.
Yep.
There's no more diverse locker room in any sport than there is in football.
It's a great unifier.
It is. It's the great unifier, and people come from all walks of life to play professional football. Your backgrounds are as diverse as in any sport. And so if anything can be done from a sports perspective, the guys that play here and in this league would have the best perspective on to heal. Better than anybody in any corporate job, better than any of some of the other sports, certainly, because the diversity of the locker room is unique in that. There's tremendous power here and a tremendous way to get all on the same page and fight for a solution and a common good.
Race, background, geography, yes. And you think about it, we're talking right now in Berea, for example, there are 80 players on this roster that come from an unbelievably diverse set of backgrounds, and to try to come together. And, yes, I do think there can be some power in that because it's a great example, as you mentioned, of the unification. A football team can only be successful when everybody is working together. All 11 guys who are on the field at that moment, regardless of where they come from, are united for a common purpose. And I think we are, as a country, facing a watershed moment, and it's something, unfortunately, we said, and I believe we said this months ago, and we still are there. And, of course, it's going to take time, but we're facing a watershed moment to enact change and to have change, and hopefully – there are people with massive profiles now who are taking a stand. I mean, the thought of NBA players not playing to make a social statement is not something that I don't think any of us going into the year 2020 would have ever thought we would have seen.
Oh, no.
We're not
playing games. I mean, that's been since the 60s. Like Bill Russell, Elgin Baylor in the 60s, that happened. But we haven't had that since.
Yes.
It's a long time.
A long time. And you would think as a country, you would hope as evolution, you think about what, for example, what travel was like or what technology was like, you would think that we as people would also have evolved in a positive way over that time. And clearly there are still a lot of things to deal with. And there are so many things that have happened this year that are historic. We're talking half a century or centuries more that the last time you've seen something like this. And I do think that you have in our society now, and I think one of the things you've talked about for a long time is the ability for players now to reach their audiences directly, whether that be through social media. I mean, and primarily that is the vehicle for doing it. But there is a generation of guys that, and they're not going to just shut up and dribble. They're not going to just stick to sports, stick to football, and they shouldn't. This is a human issue. This is a right and wrong issue. This is not about, you don't have the right to talk. Everybody has the right to talk about it, and everybody has the right to do something about it, eventually with whatever they choose to do in their own lives in terms of donations of time, money, investment, energy into a cause that they believe is real. And then, of course, exercising the one constitutional right we all have to use our voices, which is to vote in this November's election, regardless of party, but just to go out and vote and exercise that to say this is what I believe in and this is what I want to see happen going forward. And it is powerful. It is an uncertain time. You and I are out here. We are doing this radio show today, and there are people even as though we are vehicles and voices for ourselves, we represent our organization, and there's still so much is fluid, so much is unknown even within our organization at this time about how we want to do it. The solution is the overarching thing, but we're talking about on this very day, how is this organization going to proceed? We told you practice is scheduled for an hour and 15 minutes from now. That's what we know at this time. Will it happen? We don't know.
Don't know. What we do know is that in the last in this morning, this was a very, very good move here. Cleveland's NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball teams aligned to spread awareness and solicit a call to action and community movements and initiatives. And this isn't at all surprising based on, and certainly from this organization's standpoint, and I know this one better than I know the other two, obviously, but from ownership on down, have always been very quick to get on the right side of things. And to do the best that they can and really put their money where their mouth is. So this wasn't surprising, but I was happy to see it this morning.
Absolutely. And, we go back to, as I said, there is such a platform in our society right now, and there is a void of voices, I think, in the sense that, yes, a lot of people have their opinions, and there's, you would say there's not a void, there's too many voices because everybody has a voice on Twitter, et cetera. But players have certainly, athletes in our culture and celebrities have an amplified voice and a platform. And I think what I am very proud to be associated with a lot of these guys is, and certainly on our team, and that's what I mean when I say that, and certainly in the sports world in general, is their willingness to use a platform that they have to stand up for what they believe is right. And there's nothing more quintessentially American than that.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing this, and it does make people uncomfortable. It makes some people angry. And you know what? That is what America was founded on, basically feeling like they were oppressed from afar, that they were being ruled without
all the way back.
Without their no taxation, without representation. They were being ruled and governed without their sentiments being taken into account. That is how our country began.
Yeah.
It is the most quintessentially American thing to do, to say, no, we are not happy with the way that we are being governed. We are not happy with the way things are playing out in the streets. We are not happy with the way things are playing out in our neighborhoods. We are not happy with the violence that continues to be perpetrated across this country against people of all races, by the way. We need to stop that. We need to enact change, and it's too often things happen. You hear something for a few moments, and then it goes away.
Yep,
I think we've reached, it seems to me, a tipping point or a breaking point where I don't think it's going to go away. I hope that the players use their voices and platforms and know that the best way to get that, though, is still to have the exposure, and it's still to be omnipresent. To fathom what's happening inside the bubble in terms of the jerseys, in terms of what's written on the court, Black Lives Matter.
Oh, yeah.
That is stuff that
a decade, 5 years ago, never.
Never. And I think it's incredibly, incredibly powerful. And being powerful is not enough. It's about action, and it's about compelling people to maybe step out of their comfort zones and be a part of the solution. I love that was the phraseology that was used here, because there's a problem, and I think everybody would agree there's a problem. There may be varying viewpoints on what the problem is.
Yeah.
But I think we all know that there needs to be a solution, and all we can do is try to do the best to be our part of that solution. And when you don't know, it's okay to not know the answers. It's okay to not know exactly how you should think, how you should feel about a variety of topics. But educate, as you said, educate yourself. Listen to people who have had experiences that you haven't had, so that you can increase your understanding of the experience people are having in your communities around you.
Yeah.
So that you can be a better member of your community and have that empathy. And I think empathy is a word, I love that you use that, because it just seems to me that we live in the least empathetic society that I've been a part of in my 42
Certainly.
years on this planet.
And the lack of decency is just alarming.
And I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it because, to me, it's everything that America was supposed to be, and it's not anymore. And it's disappointing. And as somebody with kids and who hopes to be able to bring more kids into this world, it's got to be a better place. And we can do that. We can control it.
Well said, buddy. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
This segment brought to you by Allstate. If you're driving less, you could be saving more on your car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
Spectrum Mobile is now the fastest growing mobile provider in the nation, growing faster than Verizon and AT&T, and even growing faster than T-Mobile. It's easy to see why. Spectrum delivers the fastest overall speeds and is the most reliable mobile service coast to coast. There are no contracts, added taxes, or fees. Switch and you could save up to 40%. And see why Spectrum Mobile is the fastest growing mobile provider. Learn more at spectrummobile.com. Based on Q1 2020 subscriber data.
Whether you're a great leadoff hitter, a great three-point shooter, or great at sipping whiskey, perfecting your craft takes time. Mellowed drop by drop through 10 feet of sugar maple charcoal and matured in handcrafted barrels of our own making, Jack Daniel's has been perfecting our craft for over 150 years. Celebrate your favorite team by raising a refreshing Jack Daniel's cocktail. Live freely, drink responsibly. 2020 Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey Alcohol, 40% by volume, Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Oak and Embers Tavern, your home for barbecue, bourbon, and beer. Enjoy authentic smokehouse barbecue, cooked low and slow, topped with unique rub sauces, paired with an incredible array of bourbon, specialty cocktails, and over 100 craft beers. Enjoy the Oak and Embers Southern dining experience on their covered patios, or feel safe while dining in at Oak and Embers socially distant dining room. Not able to dine? Pick up. Oak and Embers has curbside service. Follow the smoke to the Oak, Chesterland, Hudson, Pinecrest, or oakandembers.com.
Hey, it's Chris Holdak for Kempthorne Motors, Canton's premier auto dealership, family-owned, and the heart of the community for 82 years. Shop Kempthorne Motors for your new and pre-owned Mazda, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, Sprinter van, Volvo, and Jaguar needs. Also offering a full-service detail center, making your summer road trip cleanup a breeze. Kempthorne Motors makes your car buying experience easy, fun, and friendly. Experience the difference today on Cleveland Avenue Northwest in Canton or at kempthorne.com.
Hi, gang. Tony Rizzo and Aaron Goldhammer here for Bookman & Son Fine Jewelers. You know the message at Bookman. By now, you should. They want customers for life. Service and sincere care rings true 365 days a year. you are truly a guest in their store.
That's right, Rizzy. Here's what happens when you walk in. Josh will introduce himself, say that he's there for you if you need him, and then he'll sit back down. He will not, I guarantee, stalk you around the store.
And they treat customers with an $800 budget the same as a $15,000 budget. I can attest to that.
Plus, Josh doesn't ask for your phone number. In fact, he'll give you his number so that you can text or call with whatever questions you have.
Now, that's the fastest no I have at a store is when someone goes, can I have your phone number? No. If you have any questions all prior to stopping in, feel free to email Josh at joshbookman@gmail.com.
He's happy to answer any questions. He always responds to emails in a timely fashion.
8803 Brecksville Road in beautiful Brecksville, Ohio, or online, bookmanandson.com.
Don't miss our Labor Day sale going on right now at Serpentini Chevy.
For this sale, save up to $15,000 on a new Chevy and get our 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on the purchase of a new car for free.
No other dealer has that. Plus, every Serpentini certified used car comes with our exclusive 100,000-mile warranty.
Plus, get credit approval in 30 minutes or less.
We have extended hours for this sale, and we're open Labor Day 11 to 5.
Find new roads at all 6 Serpentini Chevrolet stores or serpentini.com.
Hey, it's Riz for Floors. They're doing something they've never done before. For a limited time, Floors is offering 0% financing for 48 months. That's 4 years. They have something for every home. Hardwood, carpet, vinyl, waterproof floor, tile, rugs, more. Plus, top brands like Shaw Floors. When you go with Shaw, you're talking about quality, beauty, and durability. Right now, get 0% financing, 48 months. Some restrictions apply. Just off Route 18 in Copley, 82 in Strongsville across from the mall, or yourfloorswithaz.com.
Typically, our best offer of the year would be awesome. However, this year, it's Conrad's best offer ever, and I do mean ever. Right now, bundle and save up to $400, including mail-in rebates on select sets of 4 Goodyear tires when you use your Conrad's Goodyear credit card. Think about that. Up to $400 savings on 4 Goodyear tires. Do the math. Take advantage. Get those tires now. Only at Conrad.
Cleveland Browns Daily, live at training camp on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
If an auto accident caused you injury, do not face the challenge alone. Call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk & Elk, a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Go Browns. The Browns get to start practice here in about an hour. Around 2:25 is typically when it would go. As of now, that is the plan. We've heard nothing to lead us to believe that that is changing, but potentially it could, as this is obviously a very, very fluid situation out here. Beau Bishop, Nathan Zegura with you here on Cleveland Browns Daily. Some acquisitions off the waiver wire, so Andrew Berry getting to work is on this front with the wide receiver Damian Willis off waivers, a 6'3", 204-pound prospect, second season out of Troy. A undrafted free agent, he gets signed today. They also signed John Toth. The center was signed and placed Curtis Weaver, who we talked about yesterday, on IR. Toth is the 6'5", 300-pounder out of Kentucky in his first NFL season, spent time in the XFL. The first thing that I saw when I thought of Toth, obviously, was, oh, no, it's worse for JC. But I don't know that that's the case.
I don't think that's the case either. You had brought in Casey Dunn as a center who, when you made the move to get Weaver, you waived him injured. Now Weaver goes to IR. So really what you're doing is replacing a center who had been here for a new center because he left injured. So I think that's really how I look at it, bringing John Toth, and I think it's just related to bringing another interior offensive lineman because you did lose one out of your 80 with the waiving of Dunn when you signed Weaver. Weaver goes to IR, as we said. He was out for the year anyway. It's basically picking up a 5th-round draft pick from a year ago, who was he was the MVP of his conference at Boise State. And then you mentioned Willis. I remember Willis from last year, 6'3", 204, again, different size.
Big kid.
They haven't had to make a corresponding roster move yet because he has to pass his COVID protocols before you get him in here and then make that move. But, you would have to think that he's going to come in and somebody in the receiver room is likely to go out.
Well, I mean, you think about guys who haven't practiced in a long time. I think about Damian Ratley, who hasn't practiced in a very, very long time, and you do have to wonder. Like there needs to be some bodies in that room, and you need to have some guys in there, and another guy here potentially who you could develop over the long haul, and with a frame that is unique. I mean, this would be more in the Donovan Peoples-Jones size than it would be to what most of our receiving group is.
Yeah, it would be. And you mentioned, Ratley hasn't been out here. I would be surprised if it's Ratley at this point. I think, if you're one of the receivers at the bottom, wasn't getting a ton of work, from a body standpoint, the only person that Willis mirrors is Jamon Moore, who wears number 16, who's had, I would say, probably an uneven camp would be the way to put it, has struggled catching the ball. He's gotten open, so, I mean, he's done that. He's had some balls thrown his way. He has not hauled them in, though, as we've noted on Browns Live, much to the chagrin of Josh Cribbs because he wears number 16 out there. So I would guess that would be a move for a receiver in, receiver out, and I think what everybody is wondering, though, the big question is Logan Ryan, do the Browns feel they need to make a move for a guy like a Logan Ryan to come in here where he can play and do a lot of the things that Grant Delpit was going to do for you? He probably is going to cost you high single-digit millions, perhaps 10 million. You've got the room for it. It would be a one-year rental.
One-year rental, yep.
But that's the only significant move I think that could be left for this team.
He's the name that you saw as soon as you got the news about Delpit. It's the first name I thought of. It's the first name that your eyes went to that made all the sense of the world. It's the guy who's most similar to what Delpit was able to do. That's out there, who's a good player. But again, like we've illustrated before in the program, where we are now with this. I mean, this is a guy who's not in an NFL bubble.
Correct.
Logan Ryan.
Right.
So he's going to have to pass all of those. It would be the 3 out of 3 tests in 5 days, right? That would have to happen, and then then those would all have to be clear, and then start the daily, and then he could come in. So you got to work out. How would it work? What would the process be? Would it be work? It would be first
workout,
it would probably be
test.
Test first, then workout, or would it be workout then test?
They bring people in for workouts, and then often the language that's been used on a lot of these things is, assuming he passes COVID, he would be signed. So
he'd have to pass the 3 out of 5, then work out, right?
I think you can work out on one. I think you can work out on one.
I was curious about that because I was thinking there's no way you can have guys.
Then to get in the tier, though, takes time, which is what we're seeing with Willis.
Right. Because there's no way you'd let somebody who didn't go through the full COVID testing to come in here into the facility.
It did seem like with Malcolm Smith, he came in for the workout, I want to say, 3 days maybe before he actually debuted here.
Okay, so that seems to be the time frame.
Yeah, so there was time, but with the point you're making, regardless of what the specifics are, because it is a very complicated protocol, is that we are in our last 5 days of camp practices. It would be unlikely that he would be able to participate in more than 1 or 2 of the final days of camp, and then then we're into the preparation for the season. So he's a veteran, a guy that could get up to speed, but action on these guys you would think would have to come soon. Now there's another camp that says people like Ryan and Clowney are expecting very much so that once you get into this season that there will be a rash of injuries because teams haven't been going full speed, haven't been going live. This is the first live portion that you will see will happen September the 13th, and that there will be significant injuries on contending teams that will drive Clowney, Logan Ryan, etc. prices up.
Yeah.
And so that they could be waiting for that as opposed to wanting to come in early. Now, the other part, and this is something to think about, and fans aren't going to like this, but this is something to factor in when you think about it, is, and you do not win games by carrying over cap space. However, the space you have this year, you can apply to next year, understanding that next year is going to be most likely a lower cap. So you would therefore be able to raise your own cap level relative to other teams. So you don't want to just blow all your money this year knowing you're not going to have the cushion that you would, because the cap could come down, I think they said from 200, 210 to 180.
Oh, yeah.
So that money to carry over is a significant piece of it. So you have to make sure if you're making an investment like that you really feel that person is, to quote a baseball term, going to give you a strong WAR, which is wins above replacement.
Yeah. And Ryan would seem to be that. And this is why these practices are so critical, because if they aren't going to go in that direction, then you say, well, who's going to step up? And I don't know that there's nobody on the roster who's in the position. It'd be what Redwine obviously would make the most sense.
Sendejo has the versatility to do it. You'd move Redwine into that
role, but now you've got nothing
behind
your
undrafted
empty
free agents.
Yeah, you're behind. You're empty. So that would seem to be a really exposed way to go into the season.
Yes,
at that position.
You wonder if we had full cornerback health, if things would be done with Money Mitch cross-training at safety, if MJ Stewart would get some cross-training there, things that could, move this around and get it to the point where you have more options and more, diversity in your defensive backfield. But as it is now, you're right, your safety position, you've got Sendejo, you've got Joseph. Joseph's battled injuries. So you kind of, Joseph hasn't finished either of the last 2 seasons. Redwine has started 5 games for he's a second-year player. So you really need to have what I would think is some type of security blanket there beyond them. And what you have now is Javonte Moffitt, an undrafted free agent from this year, Elijah Benton, an undrafted free agent from this year, and J.T. Hassel, who was an undrafted free agent from 2 years ago. Benton and Hassel are pretty much strong safeties only. So, yeah, there's a lot that you would need to really think about and figure out at that position. That's the one position that makes me nervous. You wonder, though, can you get a guy like Donovan Olumba, who showed you so much, with his size, can you give him some work at the safety position? I don't know the answer to these questions, and I think we're not going to get the answer to a lot of these questions because, we don't know how many of our corners are practicing, and we need our corners a corner.
Right. Yeah, and that group has been decimated. So this practice will be our eye on who's out here and who is not. Coach Stefanski is set to address the media relatively soon. We're going to take a quick time out. That should be on the other side of it. Cleveland Browns Daily 850 ESPN Cleveland.
This message is for anyone looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, even if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or taking anxiety meds. Here's an example. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe overweight with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost about $200 a month. We're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. If you've had prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Get a quick quote by calling Term Provider at 800-529-2856. 800-529-2856. If you're looking for term life insurance but have type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, or have other health issues, call Term Provider at 800-529-2856 or visit termprovider.com. Termprovider.com.
This segment brought to you by Allstate. If you're driving less, you could be saving more on your car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
Visit LibertyFord.com for your vehicle service. And if you are in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle,
Liberty's in Aurora, Maple Heights, Canton, Parma Heights, Brunswick, Vermilion.
All month long, get a 7-inch hot buttered cheesesteak from Mr. Hero for only $4.50. Place your order ahead of time with our online ordering at MrHero.com and get this classic today.
Mr. Hero, it's the taste you crave.
Medina Vein is now Medina Vein and Vascular, a brand new state-of-the-art lab in Medina built by Dr. Zeta, offering vein and artery leg procedures in a sterile, safe office setting. If you're suffering from varicose veins, leg swelling, leg pain, or restless legs, visit loveyourveins.com to schedule your free leg screening.
Hey, Mackenzie here for Ken Ganley Kia to tell you why they're one of America's largest Kia dealers. Trade in your keys for our keys and get a discount up to $7,500 off select new 2020 Kias. Up to $7,500 off MSRP. Choose from over 600 new Kia models in stock, including Rio, Soul, Optima, Sorrento, Forte, Sportage, and Stinger at their biggest discounts ever. Plus, see the all-new full-size Telluride. And if you have less than perfect credit, come on down. Ken Ganley Kia loves chance to say, yes, you're approved. So bring in your trade, no matter what the condition, and get up to $7,500 off during the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event at Ken Ganley Kia in Medina. I want to see ya in a Ken Ganley Kia.
Example new 2020 Stinger GT2 MSRP $53,685 plus tax, tag, title, and fee on approved credit. Dealer retains all factory rebates. $3,500 Kia customer cash plus $4,000 dealer discount equals $7,500 off MSRP. Once financed through KMF. See dealer for details. Ends 9/8/20.
The Pro Shop at First Energy Stadium is now open. Shop a wide selection of 2020 products, on-field apparel, and exclusive training camp offers updated daily. Here's the best part of your purchase at the Pro Shop. All Browns net proceeds benefit the Cleveland Browns Foundation. Located next to the ticket office at First Energy Stadium, the Browns Pro Shop has been updated for a clean and safe shopping experience. Open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Call 440-824-3427 or stop by the Browns Pro Shop today.
Hey, it's Riz. You've heard us talk about Plevin and Gallucci for when someone loses a loved one, suffers an injury at work, is in a car accident, or victim of medical malpractice. We want to remind you that they're now doing their part, focusing on the frontline workers, fighting coronavirus in response to the pandemic. Plevin and Gallucci have agreed to waive all fees in 2020 and handle workers' comp claims for all healthcare workers and first responders who contract COVID-19 while protecting all of us. If you know anyone who needs help, call 216-400-9000.
Cleveland Browns Daily, live at training camp on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. The Browns scheduled to practice out here in about 50 minutes is the start of that practice. In light of everything that's happened in the sports world and several NFL teams not practicing today in a sign of solidarity, it's possible that there could be a change. But Myles Garrett is addressing the media now. Do we have that? Let's take Myles.
Let's take Myles.
You like to go straight into questions?
Before we start, I'd like to ask for justice for Breonna Taylor, and I'd like to ask that the officers that shot Jacob Blake in the back 7 times and paralyzed him, I ask that they be held accountable for their actions. And, we won't stop until reform and, justice is served.
Thank you for sharing that. We'll go to Jake Trotter.
Hey, Myles, did you guys just get done with a team meeting? If so, anything you can share about it? And then have you guys decided anything in regards to practicing today? A lot of NFL teams have said they're not practicing. What about you guys?
We've seen that. We've seen that yesterday with the NBA, also with MLB, and a lot of teams today who have decided not to practice. And we had a meeting not only with the team but some of the leaders on this team on whether we want to practice. And we stand in solidarity with everyone who's chosen not to go today. But we elected to shorten our practice. We're gonna cut it down about in half to what we're gonna do. Try to fit everything in an hour, and then we're gonna go in the indoor and brainstorm on how we can make change happen in our community. How we can move forward locally as a state, and how us as teams in Cleveland, whether it's the Indians, Cavs, or it's just the Browns, can move this thing forward, move the needle just a little bit, and be the start of something great.
Our next question will go to Mary Kay Cabot.
Myles, can you talk about just even how, maybe kind of hard it will be for you guys to, even though you're only going out there for an hour, will it be hard to be out there keeping your mind on football activity?
It is hard because, it's, seeing stuff like that every day, like, it hurts. I still think about, Captain Dorn's family. I still think about the McAtee family, and the times I've spoken to them, and look forward to speaking to them again, and how their families were affected, and how many threads were cut that day, and whether it was him being an uncle or father, lover, a friend, someone who brought joy to the community or just income to that household. Now you're losing someone who brings in money to keep your family afloat, and you're losing that. And it's the same with Jacob Blake, paralyzed, and he's going to lose his job. And you don't know what's going to happen with that. You don't know if justice is going to be served. And so all that's going through your mind, and we're thinking how we can make a difference here and keep that from happening. And that's kind of why we've abbreviated it, and why we're trying to all sit down in a group and brainstorm how we can keep things like that from happening. What can we do?
Thank you.
Nate Ulrich, we'll go to you.
Hey, Miles, I was just wondering if you guys as a team have, I guess you talked about what you guys had talked about earlier. So have you thought about reaching out to Jacob Blake or anything like that? I know you have earlier some of the other, cases you mentioned, and just, have you thought about reaching out to his family?
I definitely have thought about reaching out to his family, and it would be something I do in like the coming days, because right now it's looking around the sports world and what people are doing, and just standing in solidarity with them, because we want to have a unified message, and I believe it's our privilege as athletes to go out there and play in front of millions and have this platform, but I believe it's our responsibility as human beings to go out there and do our best for the people around us. And I say do our best, I mean taking care of our community, using our platform to spread awareness, to spread information on our local governments and our local officials, putting them in the position to make the best decision for themselves and for their families. And so I look forward to hopefully getting in contact with him. But I mean, there's a lot to be said. There's a lot to be done right now before I can get to that. And that's one of the top priorities as it is.
And I know these issues obviously mean a lot to you. I also know you're a big NBA fan. Just what was your reaction last night when the news was coming down that 3 playoff games are going to be postponed because players wanted to, protest this shooting?
I thought it was better late than never. That was a long time coming. If we're really about what we're saying and what we're trying to spread awareness about, then we have to be about it. So those guys have chosen to make a stand. It's kind of similar to when Ali decided not to go into the draft, and they took his boxing license away, and he's away from the sport for 3 years. Guys taking a stand for however long, just showing that this means the world to them. It's over their career, it's over accolades. This is top priority for people who have the privilege to play and do the things that they love, play the sport that they love. And so I'm glad that they did that. I'm glad they were able to show how much this means to them. And us in Cleveland, it means a whole lot to us. And I could tell just from how long we stood out there as a team and as a leadership council. We sit out there so long. They brought out water, Gatorade, because we were standing just chopping it up, seeing what we can do, how we're going to move forward. What's the plan for the day? How we going to get better? Do we want to practice today? And what are we going to do today to make this dialogue continue and make change? Increase its rate of change.
Tom Weathers, your line is open.
Well said, Miles. You just answered a bunch of my questions there. I know you're going to brainstorm in a little while, but what ideas do you have that can really move the needle quickly and really make a lasting impact? I know it's kind of a lot at once, but what do you think can be done in the short term here to really make positive change?
Well, I want to speak for the team first. I want to say that this meeting we'll have later is going to be exactly for that reason, how we can really move the needle, how we really get the ball rolling. And there are a lot of guys in there with good ideas, and who are uncomfortable in speaking in front of groups. I know that because I am and I was one of them. I've gotten better with age, and so just getting and talking to them as individual and on a personal level about how near and dear this is to them. And I know guys have been affected on many different levels. And we look forward to hearing from them on how they feel like this change can be made. But for me personally, I brought forth the idea of a petition for criminalizing hate speech, because I don't believe it should be said on forums, whether it's on social media like Twitter, Instagram, or whatever you have it. On Snapchat, whether people takes a picture of it and send it out, or openly in the streets and marched and paraded. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be allowed, and it shouldn't be accepted in today's day and age. It's wrong in so many ways, and there's so many avoidable events that started with hate speech on social media, whether on Twitter, whether it was from shooters that the many shooters that have shot up schools or shot up churches, who started just with open hate speech and was, they had no opposition towards that, towards their ideas and towards their opinions, or towards groups who openly march and parade their ideas up and down streets, who are allowed to walk by police stations and local officials who openly do nothing, whether they agree with their ideas or not. That shouldn't be okay.
Thank you.
We'll take a question from Scott Petrick.
Hey, Miles, is it difficult? I mean, you talked about how you've been shy in the past and you've kind of grown out of that, but is it difficult for you, or do you think even the NBA guys last night, to take this public stance when there's going to be criticism and it's not going to go over with everyone?
Man, we take criticism every day on every action that we make. So this would just be another one, and this one just happens to hit home more than any other. And so I believe that we just have to be unified in our message. Now, I don't want any individual to feel singled out and to get any hate more than anybody else because they have their opinion. All our opinions are shared. That's why we're giving it. That's why we're meeting together, because everybody feels this way, and we all want to have a united voice, so that we can't be drowned out. And we want to be heard, and we want to promote change, and we want to get the ball rolling. We want to make change happen.
Thanks.
Thanks, Miles. Know that you need to get ready for practice and be respectful of your time, but if you would like to take a few more questions to continue speaking on these topics, happy to continue going with questions.
Do a couple more.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. We'll do two more. We'll go to Jake Trotter.
Miles, it sounds like in the NBA bubble, the players were wanting to see action from the league's owners. Is there anything that you guys have discussed or that you would like to see from Browns ownership at this moment, or steps for them to take in regards to what we've been discussing?
Just their backing behind us. I don't foresee them having or being a opposition or in opposition of what we're doing. But whatever we decide, I hope that they are among the front lines. They speak up just as much as we have. They promote it as much as we do and we have. And so I'm just hoping that they're there with us every step of the way.
And we'll make this our last question from Jeff Shadell.
there's been things like this happen in the past, protests by athletes, and then maybe there's a calm and things, then they end up going back to what's happened. So what is the best thing they can do to make the change you seek permanent?
Best way to make that happen is to be unified. And I feel like most of the time when this has happened, it's been individuals being affected. Individuals, a person on each team is feeling some type of way, but the whole team is kind of on edge about what direction they go, what they want to do, and how they feel. But it's different this time. It's kind of it's been a movement, not just a BLM movement. A lot of people are feeling this way. All colors and all walks of life, and I feel like with so many leagues, so many people, standing in solidarity, in every sport and in every profession, I feel like it can't be ignored, and it can no longer be looked down upon. It's just like many others have shared their opinion. Like I said earlier about hate speech, how their opinion can be shouted out to the world and paraded in the streets. Right now we're trying to do the same thing, and so I'm hoping that with our initiative to get people to vote, not only for the president, that we only have so much say in that. You can give your vote, and that's one person who looks over us, but you have the Senate, you have your governor, you have your mayor, you have your local officials, you have your police chief. You have so many people who you can really put in place to look over your families and those around you. That's part of our power, and that's the part of democracy that we need to take advantage of. And we need to be more aware of who we're putting in power. We need to be have a little bit more power in who we give that authority to. Like those police chiefs, we need to know who comes into our county, our state, our town, and know what they've done. A cop or a police chief shouldn't just be able to slide from one county to another, one state to another, and be openly accepted in if he's committed a heinous crime. There's no way he should be able to have shot someone or gotten off easy with a crime and been able to get another job. And so we should be more aware of that. We should be providing more information about that, and we should have more control over things like that in our community.
Miles, thank you so much for taking time to speak with our group today and for sharing your feelings.
Thank you.
Incredibly powerful statements there from Myles Garrett, answering a wide array of questions, something obviously he is very passionate about. We have a lot of big-time leaders on this team, and there are many who could have done that, but Myles did it as well as any, and as emotional as any, and as straightforward as any. And I think that's a big moment for Myles Garrett as a person, as a member of this team, and a member of the NFL community and the greater world at large.
I do too, and I think that this was Myles' choice. Myles wanted to do this. He wanted to get up there, and I think what he said was right. He wants justice. He's going to, what can you do? Bring forth a motion to criminalize hate speech. I think this is something that really resonates with these guys. And he mentioned there was a team meeting and then a meeting of what you would call, I guess, the Browns Leadership Council, a bunch of veterans, and it was important to them, to bring light to these issues that they hold so dear. They're going to take time today to address that. Practice will be shortened, which is what he said, but they will get some work in, and then they will go to work on not only football, but then go to work on trying to help heal and fix our, unfortunately, broken society.
Yeah, so the particulars of this in terms of how this impacts today's practice, as many teams have canceled or have decided to call off practices, and there are some that just continue to come in on that front. What the Browns have decided to do here, I should say what the Browns players have decided to do here, is to practice for an hour and then go into the indoor and brainstorm how to make real change. And I think that's a good way to do it, is to use that time to let's find real solutions to this. So this practice that we will be out here for, one of 5 left. Do I have that right?
That's right.
5 left in the training camp portion.
Right.
But 5 left of these. This would be the 5th one left. Theoretically going to start at 2:25, but that was the schedule. But it's hard to know if that would remain or not. I mean, obviously we're running a little bit behind here with all this.
Yeah, and I think, it just shows that they understand what's at stake here, and they understand that they need to figure out how to use their platform. And I'll tell you, I really believe that if all of the major sports leagues and teams and most visible players all get together on this, it will create something very powerful. And I think we're certainly beginning to see that. For the Browns, like first game, it is so close.
You're 15 days from the Thursday opener, so you're 18.
2 weeks.
18 from ours. Oh yeah,
14.
14.
It's Thursday.
14 and 17.
So
14 and 17. Gosh almighty, that's right. You're 14 days from the opener.
Which is just stunning to say out loud.
Yeah.
Sometimes things are bigger than sports, bigger than football, and I think the Browns players, and really you're seeing it around, feel that way. They're going to come. They're here. They want to get work. I think they know that that part of it is important, but they don't want to ignore what else is going on that's important. I think what you heard and what we talked about at the Open is it's about coming up with a plan for action. What can we do? And that's what the second part of what would have been practiced today, and I'm sure we'll extend well beyond that when the players get together and try to figure, okay, what can we do? We have to do something.
And that was something that LeBron talked about, through various people reporting of some of LeBron's comments last night and into today.
He's done so much.
Well, yeah, he's done so much. But the side of that was, okay, we've done this, but now what? What do we do now? How do we impact real change? And the number one thing you're going to hear is the vote, is the vote initiatives that are being done, and that's where you're at this point. And that was a powerful moment for Myles Garrett and this team. Boy, I don't know how in the heck you're ever going to put this year into perspective. I don't know if it can be. It is such a transformative year from dealing with a pandemic the likes of which we haven't seen in over 100 years, and now this more than bubbling to the surface, this eruption of pushback to social and racial injustice by the most prominent athletes in our country, among others. So this and what all comes of this is going to be fascinating to see. And I think that if we've learned anything in this, it's that to prepare for everything, because you don't know what the next day is going to bring. Unfortunately, many of those surprises have been negative, but eventually that tide will turn, I hope, and you'll get good ones. But it's been surreal. It really has. And this is not, you think about what normally would be going on at this time, like a year ago. What are we doing? Think about what's changed in a year. I mean, think about it from an NBA perspective, Z. The NBA started with the Nets and the Lakers in Shanghai deciding to play or not because the general manager of the Rockets made comments about freeing Hong Kong. It's now in a bubble, last night in a bubble in Orlando, deciding whether or not to play.
It's
11 months later.
And and their season would have been long over under normal circumstances.
Yeah,
they would have had preseason games, and it's a stunning convergence of hopefully once in a lifetime events. But I think certainly we are on the precipice of what hopefully will become. It's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be the downfall of our country and way of life as we know it, or it is going to be the tipping point to a better America, and an America that we should aspire to have evolved to be.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. Coach Stefanski scheduled to talk before practice, but that could change too. So who knows? We're kind of going with the flow here on this one. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
The worldwide leader lives in Cleveland. This is ESPN 850 WKNR Cleveland.
This report is sponsored by Kraft's P3 Portable Protein Packs. Try Kraft's P3 Portable Protein Packs, up to 13 grams of protein from meat, cheese, and nuts. And with convenient on-the-go packaging, P3 is there for your commute or whenever you need a boost of energy.
This segment brought to you by Allstate. If you're driving less, you could be saving more on your car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
Hey, this is Mackenzie for Ken Ganley Kia, the home of Sign and Drive, where all you need is a pen to get into a new 2020 Kia. That's right. You can just sign and drive the new 2020 Kia Sorento LX for only $199 lease per month. Zero do-it signing. Or just sign and drive the new 2020 Kia Sportage LX. $189 lease per month. Zero do-it signing. These are 36-month leases, 10,000 miles per year with no security deposit required. Need credit? At Ken Ganley Kia, we love to say yes, you're approved. So what are you waiting for? Sign and drive the new 2020 Kia Forte LXS at our lowest payment ever. $117 lease per month. Zero do-it signing. Get to Ken Ganley Kia in Medina and tell them McKinsey sent you. Because I want to see ya in a Ken Ganley Kia.
Zero do-it signing plus tax, tag, title, and fee on approved credit through KMF. All factory rebates and incentives assigned to dealer. See dealer for details. Offers in 9/8/20.
For contest rules information for 850 ESPN Cleveland, please visit ESPNClevelandContests.com. That's ESPNClevelandContests.com for contest rules and information.
Cleveland Browns Daily, live at training camp on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily on a Thursday. I was going to say unlike any other, but we've done this type of show before, unfortunately. Far too many times we've had to do this type of show. We've never had to do it amidst training camp, never amidst training camp during a pandemic, but we have done shows like this before. And to give you an idea where we are right now, the Browns are scheduled to hit the practice field here in about 25 minutes.
Yep.
That's the schedule. Coach Stefanski has yet to address the media. We're not sure if he's going to do that or not. If he does, we will have it for you. We have heard from Myles Garrett, who spoke for the players on this team in their demands for change and a meaningful way of going about that and a further commitment to continuing that conversation. This practice will be a short one. It will be half of what it normally is, so about an hour or a little less, and then they will go into the indoor and they will brainstorm how to solve this thing, or at least some ideas of how to do positive change.
Yes.
It is an amazing thing that we are witnessing here with professional athletes in that they are the ones who are trying to impact change. Typically, change comes from government. It's typically where change comes from. It's a grassroots citizen thing. And athletes are the ones who are they come up with the solutions anyway. And now we have athletes that are trying to do that. And this is is Coach at the podium now. Here's Coach Stefanski.
Coach, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Rob.
Would you like to start off with a statement or go straight into questions?
No, I'll start off with a statement. Okay, so as I'm sure you're aware, we moved practice back a couple minutes this afternoon. You know, we've had a really good day of dialogue, and I think it stems from a really good few months of dialogue. This is something that there's been a conversation within our team, with our teammates, with our coaches, with our staff, with ownership. I think there's been such a great dialogue throughout the spring and into this summer. And with everything going on in the world, in the sports world, and just in the world in general, we met again this morning I met early in the morning with the leadership committee, with the social justice committee, and we started talking. We then went to meetings, had a walkthrough, and called the team up, and we kept talking. And eventually the players themselves got together and had even more dialogue. And I'm really proud of those guys. I'm proud of the leaders on this football team. And they've come up with a plan. We're going to practice today. We're going to get some good work in, but we're going to get it in quickly and efficiently so then we can spend some more time this afternoon everybody's sitting down and figuring out ways that we can be about action, because ultimately we want to be this organization is about this. We want to be pillars in this community. We want to stand for what's right and do everything we can to make sure that this town, this city of Cleveland, knows that we have their back. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Coach. We'll go to Tom Withers.
Thanks, Kevin. Where did the players meet? You said you had meetings. Did they meet then outside on the field? Is that where they did most of the talking?
Yes.
Okay. Were you involved in that at all or not?
We started off involved, Tom, then I just thought it was important to let the players come together and have a voice.
Gotcha. Miles said, and he was incredibly eloquent for 15 minutes on a number of topics. He has an idea about a petition for criminalizing hate speech, things like that. Kevin, is there something you have in mind initially that can really be impactful action in the short term?
Yeah, Tom, I think that's what we're searching for, all of us.
I gotcha.
What are those things? And I told the players this morning, to their credit, to this organization's credit, they're doing some great things. And sometimes you don't see it immediately, and there's frustration involved right now with everyone. But I don't want that frustration to stop us from continuing to do our work in the community and to feel good about what we're doing. We're chipping away at it. Progress comes in fits and starts. And I just believe so strongly in the leadership of this team. And Miles is a very thoughtful person. And I told him that. And that's why I appreciate his lead on this.
Thanks.
Go to Tony Grossi.
First, Rob, could you let me know if I'm coming in good enough?
Yes, we can hear you, Tony. Thank you.
All right, Kevin, boy, the realities of life are certainly affecting this training camp. There's COVID, and those freak accidents that you guys have experienced. And now there's this renewed discussion, this important conversation. Is there some point that you worry about getting the team ready for the season?
I'm in the moment, Tony, and what this moment calls for is dialogue and unity. And I think we're getting that in a bunch of ways from this football team, and that's what I really appreciate about the guys we have.
Okay, thank you.
Nate Ulrich, you're up.
Hey, Coach. Just wondering, obviously we know your dad's background in the NBA, and what was your reaction last night? Pretty significant for 3 playoff games to be postponed. And did you have a feeling that the Browns were going to, be involved in some way or another when you started to see that?
I just think it goes all the way back, Nate, to the spring. And it goes back to the conversations we've been having that are ongoing. And I'm not naive to think that we won't continue to talk about this and there will continue to be incidents. That's what we're working really, really hard on, making sure that we take care of this city first. And I think our players are so mindful of making an impact in the city of Cleveland. So like everybody, I'm watching what's going on. And yeah, I was watching what's going on with the NBA. And I don't know what the right answer is. I think we're all searching for that, but what we're trying to be about is action. And that's part of what the plan is today with the players, and get our arms wrapped around some action items.
Mary Kay Cabot has our next question.
Coach, do you recognize, I'm sure you do recognize, but even to just go out there for an hour today, this afternoon, with what all these players have on their minds, what's that going to be like for you to try to guide them through a practice when you know that most of them, are thinking about what's going to be happening after that when they go into brainstorm and what they're all feeling right now?
Yeah, we're lucky, Mary Kay, to get out there on the football field and focus on football for a little while and take your mind off this. I think we can do that. I'm not naive to think that some guys will be thinking about those meetings like you mentioned, but this was the players' idea to go out there and practice today. So I'm following their lead on that.
Thank you.
Scott Petrick.
Hey, Coach, you've mentioned that social justice committee a few times since back in March till now. What did before today? What have those meetings been like since you guys have all been back in Berea?
Yeah, I want to say we've met 3 times since we've been back. There's a bunch of action items, so to speak, things that we're planning on doing. with the NFL this season and things that we're doing in the community. Have had great assistance from our staff here at the Browns and explaining all the resources that are available to the players. So just really getting their feel for what type of impact with which organizations do they want to have an impact in the community.
Who are the guys in the committee?
I think it's about 12 of them, Scott. I can't name them off the top of my head.
Is Miles one of them just because we talked to him earlier?
Okay.
Jeff Shadell has our next question. Jeff, if you could hit unmute on your side.
Maturity of some of your players. Talking about.
I'm sorry, Jeff. We're having trouble hearing you there, so we're going to go on to PJ Ziegler.
Hey, Coach, appreciate the time. There's this alliance that was started between the three pro sports teams in town. Obviously, you guys were a part of that. Just wondering, who was kind of the principal behind getting that started, and why is it important for all three pro sports teams to back this and be behind this?
Yeah, PJ, that goes, again, back to the spring, and those conversations started somewhere between AB and I and JB Bickerstaff and Kobe. And then as we started having conversations, we reached out to the Indians and Tito Francona, Chris Antonetti. And I think we all realized that all of us wanted to help make an impact, and we felt like we were stronger together. So it's by coincidence that it's been announced this morning, but that's something that we've been working on since the spring.
Thank you, PJ. We'll go back to Nate Ulrich.
Kevin, with the Be the Solution campaign, and you're talking about this dialogue that you guys have had going back for a while, and honestly, with the Browns, even before you got here this year, it's been going on for a couple of years, really since 2017. Do you think there's a sense of pride within the organization to kind of be leaders in the conversation when it comes to social and racial justice issues?
Nate, I would just tell you all of my experiences with this organization, with this ownership, is about making a positive impact in the community. It's what we're about. I've been so proud to be a part of that. And it's something also that we all realize is not going to be fixed tomorrow. So it's just a constant need of attention, of resources, of dialogue, of action.
Back to Tom Withers.
Coach, forgive me for a football question. Do you have a medical update on Greedy Williams?
I really don't have an update right now, Tom.
Do you expect him to be out there today?
I don't think so.
Jeff Shadell, your line's open. Let's try one more time.
I'm having some computer problems here. What I was asking you, Kevin, have you learned something about the maturity of your players during this whole experience?
I think I'm learning a lot about the players, period, Jeff. I finally got to meet a lot of them in July. So there's players that I'm still getting to know. I will tell you, I've been so impressed with the leadership on this team. We have good football players. We have good people. And I think they all understand the impact that we can make in our community here in Cleveland. But I think I'm getting to learn and getting to know a lot about all of them.
We have one hand up. We'll go ahead and make this our last question. Scott Petrick.
Hey, Kevin, kind of following up on what Mary Kay asked, when you met with the guys today, can you see the raw emotion that they're going through right now? And is their coach, kind of how do you help them process that?
Yes, Scott, I think there's a lot of anger. There's frustration. But I think there's also a resolute feeling that these guys want to be part of the solution. And as much as we want to yell and scream, and sometimes we do, we want to figure out a way to help. We want to figure out a way to affect change. And that's, I think, what you're seeing here today, and you're going to continue to see in this building for as long as we're doing this.
Thanks.
Thank you for the time today, Coach.
Okay, thanks, guys.
And with that, we'll take a quick timeout. Some strong, powerful words from Coach. We'll Take a quick time out here on Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
K&D proudly invites you to live at one of the 8 most desirable addresses downtown. Residences at Hannah, 668-1717, Leader, Halley, Reserve Square, and Stonebridge. Be among the first to live in Cleveland's most iconic landmark, the Terminal Tower Residences. Classic elegance meets unique contemporary design with thoughtfully composed kitchens, bathrooms, living spaces, and much more. Move in today. You deserve a K&D quality home. Check out everything K&D has to offer downtown and throughout Northeast Ohio at K&D.com.
At University Hospitals, your health and safety have always come first. UH Safe shows that commitment in action. Social distancing in all shared spaces, screening everyone who enters for symptoms or fever, and more. UH Safe means if you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get care at University Hospitals. UH Safe, protecting your health with science and compassion. University Hospitals. Visit uhhospitals.org.
Whether you're cheering on your Cleveland Browns or grilling at your tailgate, Sugardale hot dogs are the unofficial food of good times. Sugardale has launched an all-new lineup of uncured, nitrate-free hot dogs to complement its trusted classic recipes. After almost 100 years in business, Sugardale has learned a thing or two about what makes a great hot dog. Look for the official hot dog of your Cleveland Browns next time you stop into your local grocery store. It's the one with the bite out of it.
Getting a mortgage doesn't need to be complicated. With Union Home Mortgage on your home team, the loan process is simple, straightforward, and we promise to keep you in the loop all the way to the end zone. If you're ready to score a home ownership touchdown, call us at 877-846-4968 or visit UnionHomeMortgage.com today. Union Home Mortgage. Promises kept. Union Home Mortgage Corp. is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS 22298241, Dow Circle, West Strongsville, Ohio, 44136.
The Pro Shop at First Energy Stadium is now open. Shop a wide selection of 2020 products, on-field apparel, and exclusive training camp offers updated daily. Here's the best part of your purchase at the Pro Shop. All Browns net proceeds benefit the Cleveland Browns Foundation. Located next to the ticket office at First Energy Stadium, the Browns Pro Shop has been updated for a clean and safe shopping experience. Open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Call 440-824-3427 or stop by the Browns Pro Shop today.
If you've ever listened to a game during a wedding, you're a fan. If you listen to it during your wedding, you might be a little obsessed. Obsessing over something like football can be a problem. But if you have an obsession with gambling, that can be really dangerous. So if you're constantly thinking about playing the lottery or hitting a casino, do something to take your mind off of it, like finding a hobby. Or go to keepitfunohio.com, where you'll find interesting quizzes, fun games, helpful tips, and lots of effective ways to keep your gambling in check.
Cleveland Browns Daily, live at training camp on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily here on a Thursday. Give you up to speed on where we've heard from Miles, we heard from Coach. This was supposed to be a return to practice, a full contact practice, a fully padded practice after the day off yesterday. The events of last night in the NBA, the events of today in the National Football League with various organizations canceling practices. There was a team meeting at the end of the walkthrough, followed by a players-only meeting that Coach acknowledged, and then a leadership council meeting that took place. We've heard that from Miles and from Coach on the decision on what this organization was going to do. And Kevin Stefanski said there that he followed the players' lead on that. The players wanted to practice, but they wanted it to be shorter, and they wanted to spend an hour of that time working on a real solution to enact change when it comes to social and racial injustices. So that's what it's going to be. This practice was supposed to start in about 9 minutes. We're the only radio show live out here, and I can tell you it's not starting in 9 minutes. There's nobody out here at this point. So Coach said it would be pushed back. We don't know how far. And we're kind of rolling with the punches on this one as well, guys, in terms of what's going to happen here over the next hour or so.
Yeah, and again, I think today from the Browns standpoint and from Kevin Stefanski, and for a first-year guy who's never been a head coach before to be thrown into – I mean, the fact that on Sunday we had a dozen false positives and weren't able to practice, that was this Sunday of this week. That seems like it was 20 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
And handled that with aplomb.
Among the false positives, him.
Yes, he was one of them.
Where he goes into a panic, has to go to a condo here by the facility and isolate from his family so as to not give them COVID. Does the practice on a phone, and not only is he not there, Callahan's not there, Wood's not there. 12 players, significant players. Preef. I'm sorry, Wood was there. Preef was not. 12 significant players, and any 12 of 80 would be significant, but these were significant players. We're not practicing. It was supposed to be the most physical practice that you were gearing towards.
Yep.
You come out on Monday to have a practice, and an hour before the practice, you don't know if those guys are going to be involved or not in the practice. They end up being a part of the practice, and now we have this.
It really has been a very, very just crazy year, and it keeps getting crazier. Now we're seeing people make their way onto the field. Special teams coordinator Mike Prefer, Porter Gustin, the first player out of the locker room on the field. The Browns are in pads, and so they are going to they're going to put in a good hour of work, and hopefully an intense hour of work, as much as their minds will allow it. Miles has already tweeted out, and I retweeted it, his platform, his petition to criminalize hate speech. I retweeted that. I just think Kevin Stefanski's handled this very well, saying that, we're going to follow our players' leads. What we're trying to be about is action. And I loved when, he was asked a question about, well, what about getting ready for the season? He says, well, what this moment calls for is dialogue and unity, and I'm going to be in this moment.
He said, I've lived in the moment. He's had to say that, unfortunately, a lot, because this is a guy who, certainly even before in the previous coaching search was somebody that obviously a lot of people in the building liked a lot and wanted to hire. We were waiting for him to be the head coach of this team. He gets the job, and then he has the job, and he's been dealt a hand that it just is impossible to ever prepare for. And yet, he seems completely prepared. There has not been a moment during pandemic, during the racial injustice and the pushback from athletes that we're seeing, where he has felt off his feet. Not a moment.
Yeah.
He seems uniquely prepared. And some of that's probably his upbringing, his dad, as an executive in the NBA and dealing with these type of things, in his job. When you play football, you're part of a very, very diverse community. When you're in football locker rooms, you're in the most diverse place that you can find in America, I think. Or as diverse as any. And it's prepared him properly for this moment. It really has. Whatever happens, wins and losses this year and the next 2 years, whatever, I am thankful that he is the coach of the Cleveland Browns for this time, because there are plenty who could have had this job or have had it previously that would have been out over their skis in this stuff.
We are very lucky to have somebody that is as articulate, as is thoughtful, and as, I would say, even-keeled, because there have been so many. It's been such a roller coaster that Kevin Stefanski, I think, has done a very good job. And I'll tell you, he has earned the absolute respect of his players, because guys who, he's new to everybody here, except for maybe Andrew Sendejo knows him, obviously. But, for Adrian Claiborne, you're a 10-year veteran. You've been around the league. You played with the Falcons. You played with the New England Patriots. You have a good understanding of how a lot of these things work and what you've seen, what you have liked, what you haven't. And the first thing I asked Adrian Claiborne about his impression about Kevin Stefanski was, and he said that he has our backs.
Yeah.
And I think that goes a long way with these players. And if that's not a sight for sore eyes that I see right now, Terrence Money Mitchell fully in pads, looking ready.
Boy, from a football perspective, that'll put
back.
a smile on your face.
That puts a smile on my
worried.
face. Just because I love the guy.
Well, you love him anyway. But, I mean, just, we saw him over there on the bike, and you just really wanted him, Gibby.
Rapscallion, doing it again. Setting off alarms.
So from a football perspective, and let's get into that here, because there were last we saw this team, there were a lot of guys out, especially in the secondary. One of them was Terrence Money Mitch. He's out there now, full pads, looks like he's ready to go, and we will keep an eye on some names going forward.
Yes, my man. Money Mitch, good to see you, brother.
That's my guy, our guy. That's the man of the show.
But yeah, it's good to see him out there. But yeah, from a football perspective, we'll be able to give you an idea of some of the guys making their way out. Sounds like Greedy will still not be practicing. From the secondary standpoint, I wouldn't expect. I don't think you can expect Kevin Johnson. Obviously, I think that would be big news if he were to be out here. But MJ Stewart, we'll keep an eye out for number 36, see where he's at. But it's great to see Money Mitch out here. He's having a great camp and obviously somebody you need. But going back to what I said, I think that has been the one theme from all these guys. They feel like Kevin Stefanski has their backs. And I think this year in general with what's going on, you mentioned the diversity of the locker rooms and the unifying nature, but there's I guarantee in every NFL locker room there is diversity of thought. There is diversity of background. There is diversity of political approach. And I think this year has a chance to be, with everything going on in our country, just so incredibly divisive. Mm-hmm. We're seeing that in society at large, that, to have somebody where the players truly believe and trust in him, like certainly seems to be the case with Kevin Stefanski and this group, I think is critically important for being able to try to, steer everybody and get them going in the same direction. Because I just think this year of all years, it has the potential to be very, very difficult.
It's the most we've seen it from various teams, and the phrase "embrace the suck." We've heard Kevin Stefanski say it. This is going to be a tough road to hoe. It is. But his leadership, AB's leadership, the leadership that there is on this team, is going to give you a shot. The culture that they're building here, the trust. We used that word last year so many times, the lack of trust. That's not the case in terms of what we have now. And so this is a critical hour of practice.
I think
from
so.
a football perspective, it is critical because this is one of 5 left in camp. And then you're into preparing for the season mode. So this is critical for the guys on the back end of the roster. It's critical for the guys that are going to be playing the minutes that matter to get sharp, to use this time positively. And then when that is done, there will be an hour where this team gets together and tries to come up with solutions on this. But that dialogue will be fascinating. But an incredibly important day for the Cleveland Browns and the players on this team. Much more to get to here on Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Rumpke Waste and Recycling is a family-owned and operated company keeping neighborhoods clean and green since 1932. Rumpke provides environmentally friendly waste disposal solutions and recycling options. In business for 87 years, Rumpke Waste and Recycling believes that their people make all the difference. Whether you join Rumpke as a customer or as an employee, you'll become a part of the family. Open positions in Medina are available now with immediate start dates. Visit www.rumpke.com to learn more.
Hi, my name is Kyle, and I'm a pharmacist at Discount Drug Mart, but that's not all I am. I'm a daughter, a wife, and a mother. I'm your neighbor, part of the community just like you. Drug Mart is part of the community too. They have been for more than 50 years. Now, more than ever in these challenging times, your neighborhood Drug Mart pharmacy, all of us, are here to help you. You can rely on us to go the extra mile, whatever you need, every time. I know in my heart that I can lean on my neighbors, and you can lean on Discount Drug Mart.
At university hospitals, your health and safety have always come first. UH Safe shows that commitment in action. Social distancing in all shared spaces, screening everyone who enters for symptoms or fever, and more. UH Safe means if you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get care at university hospitals. UH Safe, protecting your health with science and compassion. University hospitals. Visit uhhospitals.org.
Dad, I wish we could have brought our camper.
Honey, we can't tow it. Let's enjoy nature authentically.
We are never building this tent.
Whoa, a lot of people were in that car.
Did they just tow a camper?
They towed a camper.
What kind of car is that?
I don't know, Chad. Why don't you ask them?
Excuse me, what kind of car is that?
It's a Ford Explorer.
We're getting a hotel. Come on, sweetie.
Don't be like Chad. Hurry to your local Ford dealer today. Ford, proud partner of the Cleveland Browns.
Hey, Browns fans, the Cleveland Browns 50-50 raffle has gone digital, and it's open online right now. Lucky fans all throughout Ohio can win big during training camp and support youth in our community this year. 50% of the jackpot goes to the winner, and the other half benefits the Stay in the Game Network and Shoes and Clothes for Kids, a Cleveland-based nonprofit organization. Some exclusions apply. Fans can purchase tickets now via the Browns mobile app or at browns5050.com. The raffle ends September 4th, so get your tickets today.
Ohio Cat and the Cleveland Browns Foundation have teamed up to support shoes and clothes for kids to help Cleveland students by providing them with basic clothing, hygiene items, and school supplies to start the school year strong in a remote learning environment. Log on to clevelandbrowns.com/supply drive now to make a monetary donation. The Browns Foundation will match up to $50,000 in donations made through September 12th, and Ohio Cat will provide school supplies for 5,000 students. Log on to clevelandbrowns.com/supply drive, clevelandbrowns.com/supply drive, and support Cleveland students.
$10 everyday meal deals are at Quaker Steak and Lube. The same great $10 meals you're used to getting on Tuesdays, like 10 jumbo bone-in wings or a half rack of baby back ribs with a sidecar, are now available 7 days a week. You could feed your family of 4 for only $40. Order online at thelube.com or call your local Quaker Steak and Lube restaurant for a limited time only at participating locations.
It's been a real roller coaster tonight here in Angela's Kitchen. Saucy Gold just took the lead, but Blue Plate and Kale Green aren't far behind. Wait, what's this? Red Tomato has just overtaken Kale Green and is in position to pass Blue Plate. Not quite in time because we have a winner. SW6370 Saucy Gold! Ask Sherwin-Williams and bring home the color of your team spirit. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store today.
At university hospitals, your health and safety have always come first. UH Safe shows that commitment in action. Social distancing in all shared spaces, screening everyone who enters for symptoms or fever, and more. UH Safe means if you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get care at university hospitals. UH Safe, protecting your health with science and compassion. University hospitals. Visit uhhospitals.org.
Ohio Cat and the Cleveland Browns Foundation have teamed up to support shoes and clothes for kids to help Cleveland students by providing them with basic clothing, hygiene items, and school supplies to start the school year strong in a remote learning environment. Log on to clevelandbrowns.com/supply drive now to make a monetary donation. The Browns Foundation will match up to $50,000 in donations made through September 12th, and Ohio Cat will provide school supplies for 5,000 students. Log on to clevelandbrowns.com/supply drive, clevelandbrowns.com/supply drive, and support Cleveland students.
So if I have Paramount Advantage and want to get in on these Cleveland Browns healthy rewards, I just have to make a wellness visit with my doctor?
That's right.
But what if I'm not well? What if I got some nasty toe fungus?
You can still enter to win Browns prizes. The reward is for seeing your doctor. After your visit, just go to ParamountHealthcare.com/Browns and enter.
But what if it's like all yellow and green and it's crawling up my foot?
It doesn't matter. Dude, stop talking about your feet.
Why you gotta do me like that? Look, I'm just trying to open up, share a little bit about what's going on in my life.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm a pharmacist at Discount Drug Mart, but that's not all I am. I'm a wife and a mom to 2 sweet girls. I see the people of our community every day. They have questions, and honestly, they're concerned about their health and medications. So they come to Drug Mart Pharmacy just like their parents did, because they know we will always help them. Whatever they need, whatever questions they have. My fellow pharmacists and I are proud and truly humbled that you have put your trust in us during this challenging time. Discount Drug Mart is here for you, always.
Browns fans, you can now train like the pros at Browns Fit. Our 20,000 square foot state-of-the-art fitness facility is open. Browns Fit creates a safe and healthy environment for members and guests that showcases the latest in innovative fitness technology, plus personal training, a nutrition bar, and more. Located in the flats of downtown Cleveland on the 2nd floor of the A-Loft Hotel. Specials for Browns Fit are available for a limited time. So visit us at brownsfit.com today to become a member and train like the pros.
The convenience stores of Speedway, proud to be a sponsor of the Cleveland Browns and your first choice for value and convenience. Whether you're tailgating before the game or watching the game at home, Speedway is always on your way. And Speedway has exactly what you need to enjoy the game. Snacks, beverages, everything in between. And nobody else but Speedway has the Speedy Rewards card. Start earning your points today. Speedway, proud sponsor of the Cleveland Browns.
We're on your way, the convenience stores of Speedway.
Cleveland Browns Daily, live at training camp on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Cleveland Browns Daily out here on a Thursday edition, and Beau Bishop here for Weather Seal Home Services. The best in the business for any home improvement need. Right now, just $1 down plus low monthly payments. You get a new roof plus free gutters. Weather Seal will make your new roof affordable as well. 7 years, 0 interest on that. Let the experts at Weather Seal make your new roof a reality. It's simple. Call 877-351-SEAL or visit weathersealhomeservices.com. That sale ends soon, August 31st. Couple days left. With approved credit, prior sales are excluded. Give you an idea of what's happening out here in Berea. We saw Terrence Money Mitch out here in pads and ready to go, and so that is a welcome sight. Sounds like Greedy Williams will be out of today's practice. I see Larry Ogunjobi in pads, working to his position group, and then I also saw Kevin Johnson, while not in pads, but looking to get over there and get in the mix a little bit. So this is, I don't want to get anybody's hopes up because there's a long way to go on that as he is week to week, Gibby, but at the same time, positive just to see him out there and headed in that direction.
You know, we needed some good news.
Yeah,
maybe
in that
today,
secondary
and that's,
especially. Yeah,
and Money Mitch was definitely in good spirits. I mean, we saw him during the practice on Monday. You know, really getting into it, doing his calisthenics, trying to get everything ready to go Monday and Tuesday. You know, trying to work his way back out on the field. Looks like that's going to be the case, and obviously a pretty subdued practice.
Yeah, normally at this time there would be music playing. We have not heard any of that to this point. I see Denzel Ward loosening up as he has all season on his own, but getting loose over there. I have not seen. Not to say that he's not out here somewhere, but I haven't seen David Njoku one way or another in terms of if he is out here or not. But I do see Austin Hooper out there getting loose as well. And so the team out here going through some warm-ups. And, boy, trying to get a lot of work in here in an hour. And you're going to have to be, and Coach Stefanski used the word efficient. We've got to be ultra efficient here if you're the Browns today and getting into order and getting this work in for an hour. And then after that, they will have that session with the brainstorming where they try to figure out a way to enact some real change. So that is the schedule for today, the team getting very loose and just getting loose here and getting rolling a little bit, Gibby. It's such a critical practice. You got 5 left in this camp.
Well, and that's – from a big picture standpoint, you're going to be out here today for an hour, and they had a walkthrough earlier today.
Yeah,
so right, I mean they've been out here already. The problem is the next 2 days, the forecast. It looks like Saturday you'll be okay. It's supposed to just storm in the morning, but tomorrow's like an 80% all day.
Yeah,
and where do you go and what are you going to do? And if you can't get work in this next. You know, this is like phase 3, basically. If you can't get work in, then you're really starting to be up against the clock because now you're 2 weeks out.
Is that Jarvis Landry right there walking in? Looks like it is to me. Or no?
I don't believe so.
No? Okay. I need to get some LASIK.
Yes.
Would be helpful. So those will be the things that we will keep an eye on. Obviously, today in the National Football League, in the sports world at large, is very different than what you anticipated it would be. It was set off last night by the NBA players taking the night off and in an effort to make a stand and to strike out against racial injustice. We saw 3 Major League Baseball games. Those players also deciding not to play, including the Brewers. You saw 5 Major League Soccer games canceled last night as well. You've seen several teams around the National Football League decide not to practice today. The decision here that was made by the players, and Coach Stefanski made that very clear, that the players wanted to practice and then they wanted to have an hour to sort out how to enact real change. This has elicited a lot of very emotional decisions. And commentary. One of our favorites is Nate Burleson. Great friend of the program. We adore Nate. In fact, so much so that we made sure he had the very first Odell Beckham Jr. jersey that was ever made was one that he wore on Good Morning Football. Nate was on Good Morning Football this morning and had this to say.
There's 1,000 things running through my head right now. Anybody that knows me, they know that I have a house full of sneakers and clothing. And it's unfortunate that this morning I had to wake up and go to a drawer that is filled with shirts that have statements that should be self-explanatory. Today I decided to wear a shirt that reads, "My color is not a weapon." And of course, this talks about the police brutality, the murders that we see happening. the most recent one in Wisconsin. And because of that, watching another person of color being attacked, being shot in their back in front of their kids, I feel like the sports world has unified, and I'm proud. I'm proud to be a professional athlete. I can care less about the touchdowns. I can care less about what people think of me as a player. All that will wash away. There will always be a stronger, faster player that's going to come along and do what you have done and do it better. But when I see leagues stand for something, that makes me proud to be part of this brotherhood. Because sports are great. I'm a fan just like everybody else. But life comes first. And every life should be treated equal. And we're not at that place. It's 2020. And I can't believe we're having this conversation shortly after we already had this conversation. And what I believe that players, white, black, and every other color represented, coaches, players, staff, they are all saying you can't value what black people do on the football field or when they're swinging a bat or when they're dunking the ball if you don't value their life. And if you want to sit there and argue with me, if you don't see it how I see it, if you can't see that a police officer shooting a man in his back in front of his kids, if you don't see that as wrong, then I don't want to have a conversation with you. Don't tweet me because I'm not going to waste my energy tweeting you. What's wrong is wrong. And let me be very clear, because we try to be measured on this show. We don't want to say something we'll regret. When people come to me and talk about football, the first thing football players do is we're like, come on, man, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like to catch a ball over the middle of the field, linebackers looking at you, and a safety coming downhill. You don't know what that feeling's like. Fans are screaming. How are you going to tell me to catch the ball? You don't know what it's like. So I get it. There's probably police officers that are saying, Nate, you don't know what it's like. You don't get it. Well, I do know great police officers that approach their job with integrity every day, that treat people equally every day. And I'll just say this and I'll end on this. If you can't de-escalate a situation where an unarmed person, of course a black man, because I'm black, I'm going to say that, but white, I don't care, whatever color they are, old, young, a man, a woman, I don't care what religion they are. If you can't de-escalate a situation where somebody is unarmed, you don't deserve that badge. You don't deserve to have a gun on your hip. That's all I got to say.
Powerful words there from Nate. The team now in stretching out here in Berea. Beau Bishop, Jason Gibbs along for the ride, and as we kind of head down the home stretch here, and this is going to be a quick practice. Jarvis Landry, I did need LASIK. He did come out shortly thereafter, and he looks great. And so this will be a full participation. Well, you hope. I shouldn't say a full participation, but he is in pads. So we know that will be the case with Jarvis Landry as he will be heading out here and is stretching with his team. And that from a football perspective, we will set the table for you on what ought to happen here, because a lot's going to need to get done here in an hour. It will be done while certainly there will be some minds that will be elsewhere, as they're expected to be. Go ahead, Gibbs.
A couple updates regarding players on or off the field, since they are literally – they might as well be in Strongsville from where we are.
They're a long way.
Yeah, they are a long way. Tay Davis, who had an illness the other day, and David Njoku back with a wrist back at practice.
Okay.
This is per Marla Ridenour of the Akron Beacon Journal. Landry participating, OBJ not dressed. Again, that's from Marla over at the Akron Beacon Journal.
Not in pads. I saw him out there dressed.
That's, yes.
I saw him out there in his jersey.
He was dressed, especially during, so he's on the field.
He's on the field. He's just not in pads.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he is out there. And we will update you on the other things that we see here on the other side of this quick time out. Set the table for, just 5 left in training camp here. So a lot that's got to get done here over the course of the next now probably 45, 50 minutes. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
JCPenney's end of summer sale is bringing the heat. Shop Doorbusters Thursday to Sunday for super hot deals. Also, get up to 50% off select items you need for your home. Use this week's coupon to get an extra 25% off across the store. Or check out our clearance for up to 80% off select items. It's the last call for summer savings, so hurry in to JCPenney. Offers valid 8/27 to 8/30. Conditions and exclusions apply. Clearance selection varies by store while supplies last. Excluded from coupons. Savings off regular and original prices. See store or jcp.com for details.
Progressive Motorcycle presents Road Wisdom from the Motor.
Half man, half motorcycle.
Ride confidently in the direction of your dreams. Unless it's a bad dream, then turn around.
Go the other way.
Progressive Motorcycle also presents basic policies starting at $75 a year. Progressive Motorcycle, for those who were born to ride. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy is not available in all states.
This segment brought to you by CVS. CVS pharmacists have a tool designed to look for ways that may help lower your prescription costs. Visit CVS today. Savings vary. See store for details.
This report is sponsored by Kraft's P3 Portable Protein Packs. Try Kraft's P3 Portable Protein Packs, up to 13 grams of protein from meat, cheese, and nuts. And with convenient on-the-go packaging, P3 is there for your commute or whenever you need a boost of energy.
Want to turn your old, rusty hunk of junk in for a nicer ride, but think it's not even worth a tank of gas? Think again. Progressive Jeep Ram will give you $5,000 for your trade, no matter the condition. That's right, $5,000 for any trade, guaranteed. When you buy any factory-certified pre-owned car, truck, or sport utility at Progressive Jeep Ram in Massillon. Needs repairs? No problem. Any rusty, smelly, noisy hunk of junk gets you $5,000 guaranteed. $5,000 could help you get approved. No other dealer will give you $5,000 for your cruddy car, but Progressive Jeep Ram will, guaranteed. Get $5,000 for your trade only at Progressive Jeep Ram.
One trade per purchase. Offer applies to Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram certified vehicles only. Does not apply to prior transactions and cannot be combined with any other advertised offers. See dealer for details. Ends August 31st, 2020.
Get $5,000 for your trade only at Progressive Jeep Ram in Massillon.
The break you need is right around the corner. When you're ready, it's time to start rediscovering CLE. Destination Cleveland has pulled together all the resources and guides you need to start planning. Hundreds of restaurants, hotels, and attractions have joined its Clean Committed program, agreeing to follow a standard set of cleanliness guidelines to make your visit more comfortable. This is your land. How will you rediscover it? Find out more at rediscovercle.com. That's rediscovercle.com.
Hey, what's up, gang? It's Aaron Goldhammer here for National Tire and Battery. It is August, and you know what that means. It's Big Brands Bonus Month at National Tire and Battery, and that means you save big on the biggest tire brands. Visit NTB today and get rebates up to $100 off. Plus, use your store credit card and get an additional $50 mail-in rebate, and that's on all purchases of $500 or more. When they say big brands, they mean big. Goodyear, Continental, Cooper, Nitto, Hankook, and more, all with rebates up to $100 and an extra $50 back. You can't beat that. It's only happening during Big Brands Bonus Month, and it's only at NTB. That's all you need. Eligibility may vary. Charge for tire disposal and TPMS service where required. Shop fee of 10% based on regular retail price not to exceed $35. Credit card offer subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. See participating store for details.
Browns fans, you can now train like the pros at Browns Fit. Their 20,000 square foot state-of-the-art fitness facility is now open. Browns Fit creates a safe and healthy environment for members and guests and showcases the latest in innovative fitness technology. Today's hottest rest and recovery tools, personal training, proprietary classes, a nutrition bar, and more. Located in the flats of downtown Cleveland on the second floor of the Aloft Hotel building. Specials for Browns Fit are available for a limited time. Visit brownsfit.com today to become a member and train like the pros.
Don't miss our Labor Day sale going on right now at Serpentini Chevy.
Save up to $15,000 and get our 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty for free.
We've extended hours for the sale, and we're open Labor Day 11 to 5.
Find new roads at all 6 Serpentini Chevrolet stores or serpentini.com.
Hey, Browns fans, the Cleveland Browns 50-50 raffle has gone digital, and it's open online right now. Lucky fans all throughout Ohio can win big during training camp and support youth in our community this year. 50% of the jackpot goes to the winner, and the other half benefits the Stay in the Game Network and Shoes and Clothes for Kids, a Cleveland-based nonprofit organization. Some exclusions apply. Fans can purchase tickets now via the Browns mobile app or at browns5050.com. The raffle ends September 4th, so get your tickets today.
Hi, gang. Tony Rizzo and Aaron Goldhammer here for Bookman & Son Fine Jewelers. You know the message at Bookman. By now, you should. They want customers for life. Service and sincere care rings true 365 days a year. You are truly a guest in their store.
That's right, Rizzy. Here's what happens when you walk in. Josh will introduce himself, say that he's there for you if you need him, and then he'll sit back down. He will not, I guarantee, stalk you around the store.
And they treat customers with an $800 budget the same as a $15,000 budget. I can attest to that.
Plus, Josh doesn't ask for your phone number. In fact, he'll give you his number so that you can text or call with whatever questions you have.
Now, that's the fastest no I have at a store is when someone goes, can I have your phone number? No. If you have any questions all prior to stopping in, feel free to email Josh at joshbookman@gmail.com.
He's happy to answer any questions. He always responds to emails in a timely fashion.
8803 Brecksville Road in beautiful Brecksville, Ohio, or online, bookmanandson.com.
If you're looking for a great-paying part-time job with flexible hours, check out 2020 Census Jobs. You may have another job, or not. You may even be retired or looking for some extra income, but you can also help make sure that everyone gets counted. So apply today at 2020census.gov/jobs to help strengthen your community.
Cleveland Browns Daily, live at training camp on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. The team now in individual drill work in terms of with their position groups getting loose for what will be a short practice, probably about a half hour or so left in it at this point, Gibby, in terms of what this was supposed to be. A couple of corrections. Odell Beckham Jr. is at practice, is in pads. Jarvis Landry as well, Odell Beckham. David Njoku is back as I see him catching a pass from Baker Mayfield right there. See, maybe I don't need LASIK so bad. MJ Stewart
is got that going for
which is nice, yeah. MJ Stewart is out still of this one. Kevin Johnson down with the team, suited up and looking spry, not in a uniform and obviously not participating as week to week. But that is good news. More good news in that cornerback room, of course, is the return of Terrence Money Mitchell. And still no update on Greedy Williams. And Greedy obviously dealt with injuries all of last year and looked good early on in camp with Denzel Ward. But now we're getting to stacked days here where Greedy Williams has not participated in camp.
Yeah, I mean, we ran into that earlier with Damian Ratley. And
well, we haven't seen him.
If you're not out on the field, you could easily be forgotten about right now.
No question, because you're running out of time, and for the difference, I would think, obviously Greedy's not going anywhere. Ratley's in a fight for position space, and he was in great shape to be able to get to make this team and all of that. But that battle for the third receiver, and this team's really only going to play three receivers. So barring an injury, so who is that third guy? He was somebody who thought would be in the mix. Can't imagine it at this point that he would be in the mix at receiver.
I mean, there's still some left, but at some point this team's going to switch from camp to starting to prepare for Baltimore.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks now, and you and I talked about this, and it. We do pure joy as much as we can on the show. We haven't been able to do it as much lately as we like to.
It's been a rough week.
It's been a rough week. It's been a rough 2 weeks, honestly, with the injuries last week and now with the, everything that has happened this week. And aside from just, the social injustice, the racial injustice going on and how professional athletes are responding to that, this has been a week that is, as I was talking earlier in the show with Nathan, I mean, this is a Sunday where your head coach thinks he has COVID and is quarantining from his family, along with your offensive line coach, your special teams coordinator, and 12 significant players. It's a practice on Monday, that within an hour of the practice didn't know if he would have the 12 guys or not. It's a Thursday practice where 2 through 6 at the cornerback room are gone.
Yeah. No, that was Tuesday. Monday, you lost all those guys.
Oh, that's right. Oh, the
Monday,
injuries happened Monday.
Yeah, the injuries happened Monday.
That's right.
And then Tuesday, we're like, who's practicing today?
Right. And then on Tuesday, you had a rough practice offensively, to be very fair. Had a rough practice. And so you had yesterday off to get focused, to get grounded, and then to come out here sharp today. And now this practice, and justifiably so, is going to be a short one. And so they'll be out here for probably only another half hour or so.
Yep.
And then they will go into the indoor and try to brainstorm a way to create some real change on the racial injustices that are happening in our country. So that's where you are at this point. From Kevin Stefanski's standpoint, and I said this, to Z when he was on, I don't know what his win or loss record is going to be, but we are blessed to have him in this moment, because to deal with what he's had to deal with, and it has been a lot, and it's been a lot from the word go, and to be calm and in the moment, he's been a heck of a representative of the city and the organization.
Yeah.
Really impressive.
Him and his staff.
Yeah.
Everybody's remained level-headed. Everybody's been a leader. They've taken what coach has said and followed it to the letter of the law, from the ball boys and the equipment managers all the way up to the coaches.
Yep.
I mean, it's really even ownership and the front office. There's been a plan in place, and everybody has executed it to a T. You're right. I don't know how many games we're going to win.
Yeah.
I don't know what our record's going to be at this point. I still have hope. I still think that we're a pretty darn good football team.
Yeah.
But and we haven't played a game yet, so I know it's been a rough week, but there's a lot of talent on this football team, and there's a lot of reason for hope. But, yeah, I mean, this guy has been thrown curveball, changeup, knuckler, fastball. Like,
right.
He's faced every pitch so far.
And he seems to have the temperature of his team, in terms of really having the feel for it. And, you and I, you grow up playing sports. And there is something. It's why I talk about this with my boys all the time. Like, I don't care what you play, but play something. Be a part of a team, because what that shows you is how everybody sports at their best. It brings everybody together, and that is the people in the building, and it's those of you sitting in the stands. It's a unifier.
Yeah,
it's a unifier. There's no question. You don't pay attention. You're not worried about the politics of a guy sitting next to you at First Energy. A touchdown Browns, you stand up and you high five. In the old days when we could. So that's
not allowed now.
Right. That's the beauty of it. And maybe through sports we can heal. That's what you hope. This will be a very important practice. We'll have a full breakdown of it coming up tomorrow on the program. Which
we have
will
a
just
coaches
be
show tonight.
We have a coaches show tonight as well. So you'll hear that tonight starting at 7 o'clock. For Nathan Zegura, Jason Gibbs, I'm Beau Bishop. Thanks for listening, guys. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You've been listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, a production of the Cleveland Browns and ESPN 850 WKNR.
Believe land is a term that comes from dedication, support, and togetherness. Through thick and thin, we support our teams and our city that we call home.
On game day and every day, Elk & Elk strives to earn the trust of our injured clients and provide support to those who need it most. We're proud to serve a region where nothing is given, but everything is earned.
We believe in Cleveland. Let us earn your trust. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Browns.
The convenience stores of Speedway, proud to be a sponsor of the Cleveland Browns and your first choice for value and convenience. Whether you're tailgating before the game or watching the game at home, Speedway is always on your way. And Speedway has exactly what you need to enjoy the game. Snacks, beverages, everything in between. And nobody else but Speedway has a Speedy Rewards card. Start earning your points today. Speedway, proud sponsor of the Cleveland Browns.
We're on your way, the convenience stores of Speedway.
At university hospitals, your health and safety have always come first. UH Safe shows that commitment in action. Social distancing in all shared spaces, screening everyone who enters for symptoms or fever, and more. UH Safe means if you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get care at university hospitals. UH Safe. protecting your health with science and compassion. University Hospitals. Visit uhhospitals.org.
The coronavirus has changed all of our lives, but strong academics are still the key to your future success. The Cleveland Browns encourage students and families to stay in the game by keeping an active mind and continuing to learn each day. That means checking in with your teachers through virtual classrooms, attending any online meetings, and completing your assignments on time. Also, you can access free remote learning resources by visiting browns.com/community/COVID-19. We've got this. Together, let's stay in the game.
Yep. The Ford F-150. Prepared to help deal with the tough projects life throws at you. Got it. Whether it's building a deck or remodeling your home. Done. There we go. Or just putting together an entertainment center for your man cave. Perfect. Now that's what I'm talking about. Let's go, Brownies. Hurry to your local Ford dealer today. Ford, proud partner of the Cleveland Browns.
You ready to bounce? 1 sec, I gotta call my doctor. Dog, you sick? Nah, man, I gotta get my healthy rewards. Like a broccoli smoothie? No, it's a reward for being healthy. I go to my doctor, have my wellness visit, and enter to win free stuff from the Cleveland Browns. For real? Oh, yeah. Autographed merch, exclusive experiences, and more. You just gotta have Paramount Advantage to enter. Go to ParamountHealthcare.com/Browns to learn more. What was that? That was my announcer voice. You like it? No, I do not like it. You sound like a Muppet.
Whether you're cheering on your Cleveland Browns or grilling at your tailgate, Sugardale hot dogs are the unofficial food of good times. Sugardale has launched an all-new lineup of uncured, nitrate-free hot dogs to complement its trusted classic recipes. After almost 100 years in business, Sugardale has learned a thing or two about what makes a great hot dog. Look for the official hot dog of your Cleveland Browns next time you stop into your local grocery store. It's the one with the bite out of it. Tito's handmade vodka is distilled from corn and certified gluten-free. In the mid-90s, Tito Beverage built his very own micro-distillery in Austin, Texas, and he put his life savings into it. He continues to produce award-winning smooth American vodka on the same land where it all started over 20 years later. Tito's is one